Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Entrepreneurial Marketing, Getting to Market. Now, since you've heard a lot about pricing, how to set prices, price elasticity, price differentiation, and so on. So how do you really do that as an entrepreneur in practice? Well, the first thing you do is you try to find your bottom line, meaning you try to get a feeling for your own price, the price of your products. The first thing you probably will do, you always calculate your cost base. It might not be the cost base of today, it might be the cost base of the future, but you try to understand the cost base, because what you have to understand is, am I able to build a profitable company in the short or at least long run? Secondly, what you will always do is you look at competition, right? To understand what is the competition doing. And actually also you have to understand if competition can change prices. If you enter markets with a monopoly, normally monopolists can change prices easily because they have a great margin. So try to understand what the others do, what the other solutions do to the customer. And that leads into the third way of thinking, what the customers are actually willing to pay. So what you can do, and this is the third thing, you can try to understand the value you bring over to the customer. You remember this question, why did you buy? And understanding the value there. And then you might also ask what people are willing to pay. Asking customers is normally quite difficult, but you can play around with differentiation and so on in order to find out what they are willing to pay if you communicate the value in the proper way. So what the startup normally does is you use the three ways to determine the price, and this is what we mean by finding your own bottom line. Get a good feeling for what is the price you're able to realize. Now, having done this, then you can start playing around. And remember how you can play around. You can build bundles. You can first of all try to get a better understanding of your components, of parts of the product, of the value which is delivered. Then you can build bundles and all sorts of different things. So what is component pricing and bundling? Adding to understanding elasticity and differentiation, where you can offer cross-selling opportunities. What you normally will do is you'll try to reduce price transparency. So building a bundle also means people cannot easily understand components against what competitors are bringing over. Also, if you introduce services, what we can also do is you can try to play totally different things which do not have too much to do with prices. For example, increasing customer loyalty by personalized products and services, or increasing the switching costs. And you can also attract new customers, so increase your customer base. Remember the example we gave you of a hotel room? And this also leads into better understanding what is really happening with your startup. Because the better understanding, and this is all entrepreneurial marketing and not even entrepreneurial marketing long before, is your entire business model. What do you find yourself in? Which is your market? And as a startup, what you do normally is you fill in the business model canvas. So you try to understand the value you deliver first. And then you try to understand the customer side, because this is where you bring the value, and your own production side, how do you create the value, and the financials there. By doing that, you have a good understanding about the cost base, about the value delivered, and also about the competition. And this is again a step into that, but this also helps you to understand what do you find yourself in with providing a hotel room. Is it just the Airbnb solution, which is the core need, rest and sleep? And it started with air beds, and they were in the homes of other people, so you weren't even having your own room. And if people want to have their own room, then they need the generic product, the hotel room, and maybe they don't bring the towels, but you find towels to use in the bathroom and all sorts of things. But it's important to understand where you're in as a startup, and then you can play all the attributes which you can add to your service in order to do the bundling, component pricing and bundling, in order to bring a different value to the customer in order to realize the different price. And then it can really help to discount. It is good to discount because if you want to get customers, especially if you're new, so you're facing liability of newness, nobody will really buy from you. It's a new service. Everybody is buying from Tesla right now. Everyone is buying from BMW. If you start your own car company, nobody will buy from you. So you have to fight for every customer. Meaning that probably you have to be cheaper, you have to have introductory offers and so on. So what you normally try to do is set a price and then you work yourself into the market by, first of all, giving discounts and so on in order to understand this price elasticity curve. So what you can do is you can give the first customers large discounts. However, then you also have to create loyalty in order to keep those customers. That's, by the way, a big danger if you give two big discounts at the very beginning. And these customers won't pay a lot more over time. If they keep buying from you, you might not be profitable with them. So this means only give temporary discounts. Think about that before. Introductory offers are not forever. They are only for a restricted time. And they should be transparent and clear. And maybe also, it is not a discount which people can calculate easily, but it's more in so-called indirect discounting. It's extra services and support. It's maybe early access to new functionalities and all sorts of things. Remember the examples of PayPal. They went in and existing customers received $10 for each new user they invited, and the new users also received $10 to use at eBay. Dropbox had a big increase when in sign-ups of 60% when they started a campaign refer to a friend. So you see, companies explicitly play that. They give discounts, they give incentives and so on. But very, very careful. You won't get the discount or you won't get the $10 with PayPal anymore. And also the Dropbox campaign, I think, is over. So think about what you do in which amount of time or when you do what, basically. There are companies who can only enter a market when they give the service basically for free. And now we're getting back to the question of the business model. So if you look at Facebook or WhatsApp, people are using Facebook or WhatsApp, but I think it's very hard for those companies to introduce a fee for the usage. Actually, WhatsApp tried that and people didn't follow. So the service of Facebook, WhatsApp, and all the other examples probably has to be for free. And then again, it depends on the business model, how to make money. Facebook example, you do not make money with the customers, but you make money with those who want to put advertisement in this free version of customers, for example. But again, very, very dangerous for Facebook if you spam your customers too much because they don't want to go there for advertisement, they want to go there for social exchange. They also might leave you, so it might not be a good idea to spam them with advertisement. And there you can see that even if you start with a service where the customers get something for free, it's not only about the direct pricing, explicit pricing towards the one set of customers, but it's about the pricing of your service in total and depending on the business model you can bring over. Having said that, it's also a question of strategy. And everyone knows that if you start producing your new innovative product, your unit costs will be very high at the very beginning, and ideally you can lower them over time. So what can you do there? Well, what you can do, first of all, you can always say, okay, I always want to make money, so my prices always have to be higher than my unit cost. And Apple with the iOS is a good example for that. They always try to cover their costs with their products, and they are still doing right now and making a lot of money. However, if you have someone like Apple in the market and now you'd like to enter this market for smartphones, you cannot enter it the same way right now. The only way to enter it, and this is the Android example with all the Android phones from Samsung and so on, I say even if we start producing for a high price, we start with a much lower price, which we can achieve one day. This is over here, which we can achieve one day. So we are making money in the long run. However, if we enter the market, we have to be a lot cheaper because the incumbent, which is already in the market, is at a point where the products are cheaper. This is again also some thoughts which you have. Are you so innovative? Are you the first mover that you can go into this so-called skimming strategy? So you start taking a lot of money from the first customers and then they decrease. And if you look at electronics, for example, when they're introduced newly into markets, it's always a skimming strategy. By the way, also because some people are always willing to pay more than others. The other strategy, penetration, you can use if you'd like to keep actually competitors out of the market. So even if you have a new innovative product, you might go in with a lower price and say, okay, nobody is really willing to enter this market anymore because the price is so low that everybody thinks I can never do that. My cost base will always be higher than what they realize in the market. So what's the secret there? You see, there's a lot to think about if you really go into pricing. So in general, what you do is you try to understand your own bottom line and then you play around. And playing around means understanding elasticity, understanding differentiation, understanding bundles. Everything what you do is also strategy. Strategy of making money on the one hand, keeping competitors out on the other hand, which is at the very end your corporate strategy in order to build a successful startup.